delighted to do this with you. This is episode one, and how did you sleep? How is everything?
You know what? I slept really well last night, which is unusual. So I'm excited. And I had a really awesome meditation this morning, which has just like lit my day for the rest of the day.
Well, I didn't sleep my best, which lately that is an exception. Um,
Hmm.
but it was about 3 a.m. and I was awake, and I just don't like that. I don't like wasting being in the bed, but um, there I was, um, and I remembered a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine said that when you wake up at 3 in the morning, then that's when God's trying to talk to you.
Indeed.
So he said that after his wife and I had talked, and both of us had awakened at 3 a.m. And so we thought,
Interesting.
man, maybe there's something to that. So I don't know,
So
but
so you're saying that there's going to be some really powerful message that you're going to bring today to this episode, to our very
well,
first episode.
that's that. Okay, so just how it went was I was awake, and then I started having these dark feelings, kind of cloudy, and I'm in
Mm,
touch with my age and my mortality and problems, lots of problems, and
mm.
then I found myself extending my hands in the bed outward, like energy was coming into me. So
Oh.
then I put another pillow behind me, and I got at a 45, almost 45 degree angle, and to do this because typically we don't sleep at 45. Most people, I
Hmm.
sleep at
Hmm.
90, but that's just me. so so and I could feel it. I could feel the energy, and it was like this newness. And that my wife was, she was asleep, and it was like I loved her for the first time. It was just
Oh,
really something. So that was kind of a sign that even out of all of the darkness and the sadness that is part of the world in which we live, that something new can sprout, and come forth.
yeah, I love that. And as an energy worker, I'm an energy healer and angel Reiki practitioner and all that kind of stuff. I love that story. I love what you just talked about, and I love that whole the whole idea of the feeling of energy flowing into you to renew you, because I believe in that 100%. And that was very similar to the meditation that I did this morning. So we'll have to talk about that. But we have a lot of other things we have to talk about in this, our very, very first ever episode of this podcast. So where should we start?
Well, maybe the name.
The
uh,
name. Well, it was your idea, although I do back it up and love it 100%. So why don't you tell us a little bit about where the name came from?
well, this name has recurred in my life for the past 5 years or so. um, and it wasn't even on my mind when I posted on Facebook, and I said, "Is there somebody out there who would like to, co-host a program, a podcast about emerging from dogmatism, of
Mm,
connecting people who have been liberated or are liberating or are thinking about it? How dare they?
mm.
And because of that, I just put that post out there, and you replied. You're not the only one who replied, but
Mhm.
yeah, I just knew. So you know, obviously anybody who would reply to that would be great, right?
Yes, obviously. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's an interesting journey, those of us who have gone through a deconstruction process, or are going through or are thinking about embarking upon one, and the loss and the grief that's involved in that can be really scary. And and when I say loss, I'm talking about truly true loss, losing relationships, losing faith, losing all sorts of things.
Yeah.